Hello, everybody. My name is Delzarslit, and today we're doing a reaction video. So let's check this out on our journey to the end. That's what I'm gonna call this. Okay, and it's simply put, if you know, you know. 9 theories left. I watched the original announcement video on my own, and that was an interesting day. But check this out. I'm gonna have the links in the description that way you can go and watch the original itself. And by the way, if you're watching this video and you haven't watched the actual game theory, what's wrong with you?
Yep, friends, you're not seeing things.
Your friend made a shrine to MatPat or to game theory as a whole, or to all the theory channels? Because that's actually kind of fucking. I'd like to say that that's abnormal, but at the same time, depending on how much it's meant to them, I mean, oh well.
The first video I'm doing as my final round of host on this channel is on Garten of effin' Banban. What sort of darkest timeline are we operating off of here? No, stop it. If I have 9 theories left before I hand things over to Tom, we are bringing back the classic intro.
It's back. You can't tell me not that. You can't. You literally cannot tell me that intro doesn't slap. You can't. Okay. You can't tell me it doesn't slap.
That's the stuff. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, where in just a couple of weeks, I'm gonna be unburdened of Banban. Sorry, Tom, this is your problem now.
Yeah, I should have seen this coming.
Though to be fair, Banban is kind of all of our problem. At this point, it's kind of inescapable. It explodes.
His oldest intro. Oh my god, yeah. So I want to be honest with you, right? I have no knowledge of Garten Banban. So I'm about to get like dragged through the mud by trying to understand and wrap my head around what the fuck we're watching. I just wanted to come in here because fuck it, you know. Also, wait, hold up, what the fuck? The worst of news about. Okay, 2023's trending topics in the U.S. reflect fandoms increasingly important role in transforming performers on stage security, barring, useful to the first spins on movies and more, creating communities of the the analog story, all this the analog universe, Mario and Venus, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, made with Miley Cyrus Flowers, a hit with multiple shorts, trends, and explorations of Easter eggs. The year's trending topics also include artificial intelligence, fuck all artificial intelligence, it has no place in art, which inspired the new challenges and experiments among creators. Yeah. A must stream indie horror game, a artist to help bring music and musician center stage, and search for authoritative news about Israel and Palestine. Huh. Yeah, that's a good wrap up of a lot of shit that happened in 2023.
Onto the scene in such a big way last year that it was labeled as one of YouTube's top 10 trends of 2023, right alongside Peaches from the Mario movie, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and the Grimace Shake.
I love how you passed up the last one on that list.
God, you just got
The
the
war.
month wrong.
Not okay.
This is from a different month.
Okay, the answer for this round is Garten of Banban. And yet, here we stand, at the 1-year anniversary of the first Garten of Banban game with the latest installment just released, so I guess we're just gonna talk about it until Poppy comes out, which will probably be a lot better. After what feels like an eternity for this franchise, let me check my notes, 4 months, the 5th installment of this game series dropped, naturally titled Garten of Banban 6. And relative to the rest of the series, Episode 6 is pretty tame. Episode 4 ended with a jester named Bitter Giggle making Queen Bouncelia laugh, causing her giant kangaroo pouch to erupt into a sky beam which released the Naughty Ones.
Do I need to go back and watch the other videos and then come back to this? If y'all tell me in the comment section to go back and watch the other videos, come back to this, I will. But what the fuck? Wait, okay, let me reach out real quick. All I know is it's a terrible game and you should not play it. Don't ask. If you know about it.
6 deals with the fallout of all those words I just said, where we have to face the leader of the naughty ones, Sir Dadadoo, using his mind control powers to take over the other mascots of the kindergarten. Oh, and we also get hit by a bus several times.
Truck-kun
Wasn't this a game
time.
about looking for our lost kid in a kindergarten? Whatever happened to that? But here's the thing, for as much as I joke about this game being lol so random, the Euphoric brothers are smart. As we talked about in a previous theory, skipping the 5th installment was actually a big brain move on their part, in both the marketing and storytelling departments. And it showed me that there's actual thought and attention put into the way that this thing's being structured. And it was that realization that got me to go back and rethink all the insane things that this game throws at us. And of all the ridiculous, over-the-top, what the heck were they thinking moments in this game, none can compare to the dream sequences that we've been getting since Chapter 3.
Oh, is that Choo?
Charles!
Yeah, these insane fever dreams of storytelling, talking about beaches and featuring cameos from other indie franchises.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I straight up skipped everything that had to deal with this fucking train in game theory. Every time I saw even a mention of it, because I just like, I don't want to deal with that. I'm done. I'm good. So now I have even more shit that I'm just like, who the fuck are you?
These seem to have more method to their madness than any of us gave them credit for. I mean, when the Euphoric Brothers' main goal seems to be pumping out as many games as possible, as quickly as possible, it's weird for them to purposely spend a lot of time putting these things into the games just for the lulz, which means that they have to be important for some reason, right? So what are these dream sequences? Really, why are we being shown them? And can they potentially reveal the solution to the kindergarten's largest mystery? I believe the answer
A much
is
better
yes,
game?
and today I'm gonna prove it to you. So before we figure out what exactly is going on here, we first need to remember what exactly these things are. In every instance, we're shown these dreams by the giant jellyfish, Stinger Flynn. This guy's been a bit of a question mark the entire series. Is he good? Is he bad? It's not exactly clear. When we first meet him in Chapter 3, he basically tells us to give up on our quest to find our lost child because he's cooked up a scheme to get him and all the other children out of the facility safely. He tells us he's gonna show us something that's gonna totally convince us to stop looking for our kid, and instead he takes us into the first dream sequence where we're on a deserted island alongside him, talking about his lack of a tan.
I have never had actual sun rays touch my skin. Can you imagine that? And I yearn for the day that they finally do.
He then goes on to complain about his hyperintelligence and talk about how he yearns to be just a normal jellyfish. Sorry, what does any of this have to do with my missing kid? Before we leave, though, he does make one thing clear.
So, the acid trip man.
None of this is real, but it all could be.
Okay, so let's interpret what's going on with this first dream. This place, this beach, it isn't real. It's where he wishes to be and where he was destined to be when he was just a bunch of jellyfish DNA. That right there might seem obvious, but I don't know, man. I don't expect anyone to retain lore information about this game, let alone symbolically dissect what the glowing orange monotone jellyfish is saying during his underground dream sequence monologue as a giant sock puppet looms in the distance.
That's what that is?
And it's showing us what freedom looks like.
Wait, that's what what the fuck is that? Okay, so first off, that's a sock puppet. That shouldn't be a sock puppet. That's an ancient destroyer elder god that's coming to just swallow the entire planet. But also, if this is what freedom looks like, I don't think I want to be free. Where's the shackles?
To Flynn. Besides him saying
I
that
don't
he
want
wants
that.
to escape and then showing us the beach that he wants to be real, we also see him standing next to a car. The car has always been a representation of freedom, especially when you're talking about kids. Finally getting to drive yourself wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted, unrestrained by parents. A car equals freedom. And Stinger Flynn, in his dream, drove himself to this beach. He wants to take control of his destiny and find his personal freedom. Easy. Nothing too difficult to parse
Oh,
from
yeah?
this one.
Okay,
Still not entirely
okay.
sure how it applies to my missing kid, but we'll move on. In future dreams, Stinger Flynn isn't
Never
the only
mind.
one who's trying
I
to
like to
escape. For
stay
the second
here,
dream,
though.
we've got Banban, Opila Bird, Nab Nab, and Captain Fiddles all alongside him going through the desert looking for that proverbial beach. Feels kind of like a metaphor for this whole kindergarten facility, right? A barren wasteland with no real sense of direction, and most importantly, no end in sight. It's also worth noting in this one that Stinger Flynn is the only one to truly be aware of the freedom that could await them.
So, Stinger, when are we arriving at this place called beach?
Notice that Banban uses quotations around the word beach here, because
It's
he
not
doesn't
a
understand
beach.
it. He doesn't know what freedom truly is. Freedom isn't his goal, but, you know, he's more than willing to go along for the ride. Instead, Stinger Flynn is the driver. He's the one leading the charge. He's the one literally and figuratively driving them all towards freedom. There's just one problem with that. Stinger gets lost. He doesn't actually have any idea where this
Oh my
beach
god.
is.
I believe we are lost.
Is this okay? Is it bad that I want to compare him to Aaron? And I know this sounds fucking crazy, but I mean Aaron in the sense of he wants freedom, but his way of getting to freedom doesn't compute with any sense of logic.
We've been going in circles for hours.
Despite wanting freedom and saying he has a plan to get everyone out of the facility, Stinger Flynn is clueless. He has no
Yeah, it all takes
idea
place in the
how it
kindergarten.
reaches anyone.
Great,
He's
beautiful.
just stuck in the purgatory
I'm assuming
alongside
it's all a
everyone
dream.
else. And this is where things begin to fall apart. Flynn crashes the car, and as we see in the next dream sequence, the group end up sitting around the wreckage, sharing whatever food they have left. Oh, and Zolphius is here now, just looming out in the background.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
In this
Okay,
scene,
I'm back.
we see how desperate the group is getting, specifically Stinger Flynn.
We each have our plans and goals, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
He's basically ready to give up. That is, until a surprise guest shows up. Choo Choo Charles! And while the Charles cameo itself feels unbelievably random, the actions that the other characters take, they don't. Stinger decides to capture a rescued
What?
Banban. Nab Nab, meanwhile, confronts the train head-on to protect everyone. This is actually a series of events that we see repeat again in the dream sequence from Chapter 6. We see the crew all waiting for a bus to take them to the beach, only for Captain Fiddles to be kidnapped by a different bus. Nab Nab tries to go after him and is hit by a third bus, leaving the rest
What
of the gang
the
stranded,
fuck?
only for us to then be hit by a fourth bus. What's
What
important
the
about this bizarre sequence is Nab Nab's action. In both dreams, he
This
runs
is-
in and tries.
Okay, so I didn't realize that everybody gets sent to a different fucking isekai. You just get like Truck-kun for you, a Truck-kun for you, and a Truck-kun for you. It's Oprah. Wait, actually, Oprah's not really good. You get a Truck-kun, you get a Truck-kun, you get a Truck-kun. Everybody dies.
to protect other mascots. And what do we see at the end of Chapter 6? Banban in trouble at the hands of Sir Dadadoo and Nab Nab stepping in to protect him all. Well, I say he stepped in. If I'm being thorough, I would say that he was injected with the chemical Givanium and yeeted away, at which point he transforms into a giant Dark Souls
What the
boss and tears the naughty ones away, only to then lose and fall under the group mind control spell. So really, all of that is what we saw in the dream sequence coming true. Nab Nab stepping in to help, but ultimately getting hurt in the process. And you see, this is where the pieces started to click into place for me. If Nab Nab's fate from the dream came true, what other clues can we get from these things? Well, throughout the game, we've been collecting case reports full of lore. Lore that tells us about the experiments done to create these living mascots. Almost all of them end up with a very specific goal in mind.
Is it child
something
murder?
ready for presentation? This presentation isn't a presentation for stockholders or investors, rather it's a presentation to parents and children. The fateful Bring a Friend Day, where the kindergarten ball pit collapses into the depths under the weight of the visitors. Most cases that we read about have been deemed not ready for presentation. However, there's one experiment that was considered enough of a success to present to the parents. Captain Fiddles, the one who was stolen into the bus. These dreams actually mean something. According to his case update report, while the captain's incapable of comprehensible speech, he showed exceptional stamina. He could perform simple mathematical operations, but most importantly of all, he imitated the behavior of a very obedient toddler. He was the best that the scientists had to offer. And so, as we see in one of the secret VHS tapes, Captain Fiddles was presented to the children on Bring a Friend Day, which means that he had to be separated from the rest of the gang, just like we're seeing in the dream. Think about all the imagery that we're seeing in this Chapter 6 dream. We see Captain Fiddles get kidnapped by a bus. If a car represents freedom in these dream sequences, then a bus, public transportation, is a symbol of authority and control. It's a representation of the kindergarten staff, the scientists, the system that these mascots find them.
Okay, I'm pausing it here. This fucking explanation is starting to do its game theory logic of where it starts to make a lot of sense, but at the same time, due to how nutso this is, actually, I was about to say like it shouldn't make sense because of how crazy this world is. But then again, I accept the FNAF shit. So if I can accept FNAF, I can accept this. Let me show.
Themselves trapped in. When they couldn't find freedom on their own, when they got lost and crashed their car, they instead had to begin playing
FNAF makes sense. Yes. Yes, it does, Astral.
along with the scientists and their experiments. If they did as they were told, maybe they would have a chance to escape, to finally reach that freedom, only for them to constantly be told that they weren't ready for presentation. But Captain Fiddles, he was. And so without warning, he suddenly ripped away from the rest. This also explains why we've only ever seen Zolphius from a distance. In our previous theory, I spoke about how two scientists working at the facility created this big worm Zolphius in a failed attempt to use a real kid to create the perfect child. A child that they would never be able to have naturally. But when When the experiment was over, his face was deformed. His body didn't come together correctly, and so he was relegated to becoming one of the rejected mascots alongside Sir Dadadoo and Bittergiggle. In fact, that's exactly what we see in the teaser for Banban Chapter 7, a mural of Zolphius alongside these weird hybrid reject characters. These are the
Ew.
ones that are marked as permanently not ready for presentation. The ones that we learn through a note in Chapter 6 are planning a rebellion against the scientists. But Zolphius
Fuck
is in
that.
that first dream sequence with Stinger Flynn. Apparently all he wants is freedom, to be with other children, to be accepted, but he knows that he can't be. He is the reject, and so he just keeps his distance, watching and hoping that maybe he can follow him to freedom, but never really feeling comfortable enough to really get to know anyone else. So the big question now is, why is Stinger Flynn showing us this? And also, why did we just get hit by a bus? Well, remember, in the game we're playing as a
Yeah.
parent that's trying to recover our lost child.
Why did we
Yet,
get
in
hit?
return, Stinger Flynn is quick to remind us that we're making a bad decision, and that we should probably go home.
I wanted to let you know that this is all happening because of you. I would be free of my shackles, and everyone you hurt would not have been hurt. Because of your foolish decisions, we are even less likely now to ever get back to the children.
Our stubbornness, our ceaseless quest to find our child, it's hurting everyone around us. And in Stinger's mind, will ultimately be futile. It's the exact same thing that we're seeing in the dream sequences. Stinger Flynn has a goal of freedom that he's relentlessly pursuing, and it looks like he's hurting his friends. Banban's in trouble. They're getting kidnapped. They're getting hit by buses. It's also clear that trying to recover the kidnapped Captain Fiddles immediately gets Nab-Nab injured. Apparently, those who try to recover others in this world are ultimately struck down. Basically, we're on a collision course with ourselves. We're destroying everyone and everything around us in this
So just
relentless
surrender
pursuit of
yourself.
this one thing, hence why this bus hits us at the end of the dream. The dream also shows us the evolution of Banban and Stinger Flynn's relationship. Throughout the series, it's clear that Banban and Stinger aren't exactly friends. In fact, during Chapter 3, Stinger Flynn gets mad at us for even working with Banban to find our missing kid. But as Flynn keeps showing us more and more of these visions of past events, it's clear that he and Banban used to be friends. At least friendly enough for Flynn to have brought Banban along on his little escape plan in the first place. But as things get worse and worse, we see the deterioration of their relationship. They are arguing nonstop.
You had one
I still can't decide whether or not this is reality or if it's fake. Like, I know that some of these are obviously supposed to be the dream sequences, but even the reality of this looks fucking absurd.
job and you messed that up somehow.
If Shabu Josh was here, he would have loved those vegetables.
I am pretty content that he's not gracing us with his irritating presence.
Why do you hate him so much?
It gets so bad that Banban decides that he doesn't even want the freedom that Flynn is offering anymore.
Why are we even doing all of this? I don't want to go to the beach anymore. I just want to go back.
And to really nail home this connection, the Euphoric Brothers had a song commissioned specifically for the Dream Car sequence, a song titled Rivals. In that song's music video, created by the nerdcore channel Rocket Music, the titular rivals are none other than Flynn and Banban, a song that Banban seems to really like.
That's what I'm talking about.
The lyrics of the song seem to be pointing at the moment that their relationship truly began to fall apart. In it, we have lyrics like, "Don't tell me I got time for an eye, don't take another life from me." Considering the song is from the
Wait,
perspective of Banban...
hold. I just read chat. Excuse me, what? Can't wait for these two are lovers. Excuse me. What? Astral? Are you joking or not? Could you please state clearly for my brain to understand this?
And it would seem that Stinger Flynn took a life from him, but what life is that? What could that be meaning? Well,
That's a
it's
joke?
important to
Okay,
remember that
fuck.
most of the monsters in this game are a mix of human genome and Givanium. For Banban, we know his human genome came from Dr. Uthman Adam, the head researcher at Banban's kindergarten. This is also the scientist who, alongside Dr. Weverly Mason, tried to create the child that they would never be able to have, only for it to turn into a monster. Meanwhile, Stinger Flynn, we still don't know much about, honestly. We don't know who his human genome donor was. We don't know what they did. What we do know is that according to this little kid drawing found in Chapter 2, Stinger helped to save kids from a rampaging Banban on the loose during Bring Your Friend Day. So really, this line about stolen lives can boil down to one of three things. One, Stinger Flynn was the human who put Uthman Adams' genome into Banban in the first place, stealing his human life, and he's mad about it. Option 2 is that Stinger stole or harmed the child that Uthman created, and then there's option number 3. On Bring a Friend Day, we know Banban went on on a rampage. We also see hints of this in Chapter 5's preview images. Maybe Stinger, by saving that group of kids for his own unclear and suspicious motivations, literally took those lives away from Banban. Regardless the reason, I suspect that the next few chapters are going to give us some more dream sequences that'll start depicting these events, leading to the realization that Banban, the mascot that we thought we could trust, was the one that caused the ball pit to collapse on Bring a Friend Day, that he was the one that caused our child to disappear and sent us into the abyss trying to find them. But you know what? That's not the only mystery that we have left. During the dream cutscenes, whose perspective are we playing through? Naturally, you might assume that we're still in the perspective of the parent that we're playing as throughout the rest of the game. Or maybe we're not any character at all, that we're just some random floating camera observing these things happening. But that doesn't make a whole lot of sense within the scenes themselves. First off, Banban, Stinger, Flynn, and the rest of the gang, they talk directly to our character.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
You sure are a sleepy fellow.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a good reason as
Sleepy
soon as
fellow?
someone's
We
here.
are a part of these dreams. We're watching this from the perspective of someone in the gang. So then, who are we? My first thought was that perhaps we're Jumbo Josh, but I was able to rule that one out pretty quickly thanks to this line from the campfire dream.
Man, if Jumbo Josh was here, he would have loved those vegetables.
The next possibility was Bambolina, but that one was also quickly shot down.
Finally, you're waking up. I was getting really bored, and that fella over there isn't much of a talker.
If Bambolina was really part of Stinger Flynn's escape crew, then she would obviously know that Nab Nab is not a talker. Banban wouldn't be needing to give her this sort of information, which means that whoever we are, we're someone new. We're someone who doesn't know this group all that well, and that's shockingly rare to come by. I mean, almost all the characters that we've met so far have known each other, or at least have known about each other in some form. Toadster in Chapter 4 even has a poster of every
I'm gonna say this right here, right now. I have so many questions upon looking at these characters. I know that they're probably just made completely only of meat, and it's just contracting everything and restricting and basically expanding different pieces to move. But I'm also trying to think of what the actual skeletal structure of all these creatures would be, and it's interesting as fuck to think about. But God is fucking with me.
character, including the Chapter 7 character Syringian, who we still haven't met in the games yet. Everyone knows everyone, except for maybe one. There is one character that has been kept a secret this whole time. The one we also suspect was at Bring a Friend Day with Banban, the perfect child. This child was purposely kept hidden, not just from the experiments, but from everyone. Quote from one of the lore documents: "We have to turn it back around if we want our little secret down in the basement to stay a secret." Eventually, the child was thrown into the mix with the other mascots because a follow-up note says, not to mention how dangerous it is to keep him around all those other monstrosities. This child has been with Banban and his crew for a while, which is why it makes sense for him to be traveling with the rest of the group in these dream sequences. And this then seems to point to the crux of this whole game franchise. At its core, it isn't about purple kangaroos or spider blobs or pancreases, pancreai, whatever the plural is. It's about family. The love of two scientists desperate for a child. The love of one parent searching for her lost kid. And it's about the tragedy that comes when you're separated from those children. Stinger Flynn potentially takes away Banban's kid on Bring a Friend Day, sending him into a rampage. This then prompts the overstuffed ball pit to collapse, leading to the catastrophic situation in which our character finds herself. So laugh all you want about the weird, veiny mascots with dumb names and stiff animations. At its core, this is a human story told through weird, esoteric dream sequences, poorly written text documents, and monotone monologues. But if you manage to get through all of that and the strange and often boring gameplay, underneath you have something beautiful. Or, you know, maybe not beautiful, but at the very least it's interesting. Or if not...
Hold the fuck up. This hallway. Have I watched something with this hallway before? I might have actually tuned into... Did he play this? Did Matt Pat play this on video at one point? He had to have, right? Sorry, the hallway just struck me with like a fucking memory. Like, Jesus Christ. Why? Yeah, there's no way in hell I would forget this hallway. There's something chasing him down here. Or moving, or the walls were constricting. Some shit was going on. It was weird.
Not interesting, at the very least you have yourself a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Anyways, I want to tell you, everyone here, go into the description of this video, watch the original, and support them, okay? It's fucking game theory. We're gonna be checking it out, okay? Every theory until the end. Why? Because fuck it. That man has been around for so long, and he has definitely been an inspiration for a lot of the bullshit. Especially the way that I'm at least somewhat analytical. I wonder if they're still hiring for game theory. Anyways, please, everybody, have a lovely day, by the way.